So yeah, this is awesome. And been a long time coming. So yeah, I don't use good English. Jesus, what the fuck did I say? Anyway, I did watch season 1 and reviewed it, which was released on the 28th of January 2023. So, like, nearly 2 years ago. And then I forgot it exists, which legitimately is my fault. It is on me. I sometimes forget straight up series exists. And I'm like, oh shoot, there's more episodes. And then I did the whole thing with Diabolical, which is short, so I watched Moongo Lab. So that's coming out. When's that coming out? On the 16th. So around about like 5 days. It's coming out with also Another Boys, which is really interesting. Speaking of, like, there's The Boys Gen V Season 1, which is also coming out on that day, which is a bit interesting and fun. But anyway. Also, I think I've relabeled... I am overthinking this 10 times over. That's besides the point. I like this, and I like how this ends, because, like, this ends with being like some of the villains have redeemed and have done better things, and it's like really fun in that way. And I definitely like how it's like they move on. This is the one thing that I always say. It is sad, but it is kind of a thing that, like, the MCU currently does exist. Will Moongo be in it? Don't know. Because I think the MCU did exist when this existed. And yeah, I think it did, because it came out, like, I think in 2023. 2023 was when it originally started airing, and that was just 2 years ago. And besides 2024 basically only having one film, the MCU had a thing. So I feel like maybe this will be like a spin-off. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not correct. That is one thing I'm thinking of. And the one thing I like about this, that I think is really good in general, that it is just sometimes the thing that's often... The same reason why I'm really excited about the Fantastic Four. I am also excited about the Captain America. I've heard bad things, but I'm going to be so excited because it is one of my favourite characters. Besides the point, speaking of my favourite characters, sort of like... Why am I bad with names? That also, the Captain America, that's the new Captain America, appears in this. It also appears in season 1. Who was he? I think it's Sam, but I'm not 100% sure. Sam Wilson! It is Sam! I'm like, I think it's Sam. And I was like, Anyway, I do like that, and I do find that interesting. So yeah. The only thing which I like, which is interesting, is the idea that, like, there's a whole thing with, like, S.H.I.E.L.D., and besides, there's no major, I think, other heroes. There's so many other shows that are, like, some other shows that are, like, oh, here's this his hero, and they're in the thing. The one thing which I also think is really interesting is near the end, it's like, and then they go to join S.H.I.E.L.D. And I like that as a final dynamic of, like, oh, do I stay, or do I go to S.H.I.E.L.D. and maybe, like, do something else? And how that ends is so fun. This is going to be shorter as a spoiler, but there's a couple points I need to make in the non-spoiler, besides the point. Anyway, I think this is really good. I'm excited to talk... There's not going to be much to talk about in the other one. I think it's like the other short thing. I'm going to keep it to 1 minute. I don't know, because that's just sort of like science stuff. So yeah, the other one was 1 minute, if I'm correct. So I might keep that to also a minute, so because again, there's not really spoilers in that, but yeah, it's really good. So I hope you enjoy, and good night!